Joining me now is the Daily Express reporter Pandora Forsyth and commentator Samara Gill. Pandora, we've obviously seen the promotional material that you would expect. Now, what are your thoughts on how it's tracking so far, and what do you expect from the first episode?
You're quite right. There's been so much talk about this, so much anticipation ready to see this show that everyone's talking about. It's been pushed back, understandably. I think that was the right thing to do. But of course, it's just put more pressure, I suppose, on the situation. And yes, it's going to get millions of viewers. So Netflix is going to be happy with that. But is Netflix going to be happy with this series in itself? It's 8 parts. And in those 8 parts, we will see parts of her life with Harry. I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments about that. So there'll be lots to take away from a journalist's perspective. But from a viewer's perspective, you want to see a show which is juicy, right? You want to hear about all the secrets. And of course, Meghan going down this lifestyle brand, I don't know how much of that she'll be able to actually share with the viewers. And you're quite right, Caroline. The reason why Meghan is in the position that she's in and she's getting this is because of the link to the royal family. So it leaves her in an incredibly difficult position. Yes, we know she's going back to the roots of what she was brilliant at before she met Harry, which was a lifestyle blog and, of course, her acting. So I do hope it works out for her. But I think there is a bit of confusion as to actually what the show is going to be about. Of course, it's cooking in a kitchen, but the kitchen's not even her own. How much is she actually going to let us in on Meghan and her personality? Because really, this is her last shot, I think, for Netflix anyway, about really giving an insight into what Meghan is really like behind that royal title.
And I think that's a very good observation. And Samara, the other thing that I don't quite understand yet is who is Meghan's intended audience? And do you think, well, do you know who it is? And do you think that promotional material, do you think it hits flush with that audience?
Honestly, I mean, it's hard to say who Meghan's audience even is at this point. Unless her audience is people who love manufactured authenticity, then maybe. But look, I mean, the teaser is pure Hollywood. It's all soft lighting, forced giggles, perfectly curated, candid moments. It's way less cooking show and more keeping up with the Sussexes. That blooper reel was even worse. It was basically posted and then deleted much faster than Meghan's Spotify deal. It showed Meghan trying to look effortlessly quirky, but instead it basically came across as this painful, really self-conscious exercise. And if you're deleting behind the scenes footage because it's too revealing, then I don't think you're as comfortable in your skin as you claim to be. And let's talk about the public reaction, okay? It's been brutal. That Netflix trailer has had well over 100,000 dislikes. The comment section is some sort of mass retaliation against her crappy content. And then even when people like Richard Osman and Marina Hyde of Guardian fame are openly ridiculing your show, you know that it's a sign that you've slipped from left-wing icon to reality TV punchline.
Well, that's one way to put it, and I'm not sure I could have put it any better. But Pandora, you know, last week we talked about the lifestyle range, and that had a bit of a bumpy launch last week. Is there any more clarity, you know, over what she's going to be selling and how that's going to roll out?
Yeah, quite. It just seems to be confusion after confusion. I mean, you do think these teams are going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why is it now getting so much pushback? We knew that it went from American Riviera Orchard to As Ever, but then when it got announced that it got changed, there was then a application to sell crepe mixes, where anything from pancakes to cookies, you name it. So I don't even think they know from behind the scenes exactly what they're selling, as they've already launched the rename and then they're still putting in applications after that information has gone out to the public. So yeah, lots of confusion, but Meghan's trying to be really authentic, as you can see from these stories here. And of course, if the Netflix show goes well, you can see why she's then pushing out that brand at the same time. You know, you don't have to work in business to understand the link, right? But whether it's going to be a success is a whole nother thing. She can, of course, sell gardening products to crepe mixes and to various different lifestyle bits. But again, is that actually very relatable, given the fact that we can expect this not going to be cheap to get a few jam mixes? But perhaps she could speak to the king. He sells lots of jams, so perhaps she could give him a call and ask for some advice on that one. But look, it's just going to be lifestyle range, really. And if it's going to be a success will depend on the price point, I think. She needs to make it, again, relatable. But then she also wants to still be a part of the royal family, so she has to put a decent price point on it. So we're just going to have to wait and see when the prices drop to see whether it's going to be a success, I think.
I think we are going to have to wait. And Samara, I mean, you made this point last week about the launch of the brand looking rushed and shambolic, I think was the word that you used. So we know it's going to happen at some point. You touched on it last week, but is there any update as to the when?
No, there's absolutely no update to the when. I mean, it's as if she's sort of spun this wheel and put together a bunch of random products that she's landed on. One minute she's talking about global change, and then the next she's flogging pancake ingredients. So, I mean, the rumors are, and the delay suggests, that they're banking on momentum fueled by the show in order to sell these products. But that's a huge gamble, because from what I hear, none of the products are actually ready due to the quick turnaround, the change of name, etc. I mean, I was looking at those photos. It's very clear that they just photoshopped American Riviera Orchard off and put as ever there. I mean, Meghan's surrounded by this sort of echo chamber of staff who won't stand up to her. And it's really starting to show, because this is looking like a car crash and it hasn't even launched yet.